Guys, time for the vibration test. ये मेरा phone है, I kept it here, and now at idle, no problems at all. Is this a Royal Enfield? Guys, it's a big day. It's a huge day for Royal Enfield. When I say huge, I really mean it. Because yesterday, Royal Enfield just removed the covers of the latest generation Classic 350 2021 variant. Well guys, this bike was successful for past 12 years and has given the most sales to Royal Enfield. So when the engineers decided to change the pedigree and the ingredients of the bike, I'm sure they must have got some sleepless nights. Because why fix it when it's not broken? Because the bike was perfect according to the riders and the users of the Indian market. They got pretty good feedback and the sales were rocketing sky high around the world. So what's different, guys? If I compare this bike to the older generation bike, there are a lot of changes. But if I compare this bike with the likes of the Meteor 350, well, things are not different. It is quite a common because the engine is same. The J series engine is common in both the bikes. The chassis are almost the same, the dual pedal chassis. But when it comes to the performance and the way it rides, things really start to differ, because this engine comes with different ignition timing and the fueling is also different. The tires are different, the way the bike rides are different, the total character is different, and the people it's targeted as are also different, guys. So in this video we shall find out how this bike fights with the likes of its own sibling, the Meteor, and how this bike is different from the older generations. This is Prashant Banerjee. You are watching Automania, and if you like what we do, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to this channel. So let's start with the cinematics first. The 2021 Royal Enfield Classic 350 had been launched in the Indian market with several styling and mechanical upgrades over its older generation bike. The 2021 model looks similar to the old motorcycle, and it continues to pack styling features such as the round headlight, but this time it's a clear headlamp, a round shape for the rear view mirrors, a curvy fuel tank, a split style seat, a side slung exhaust. The list of the changes include the addition of a semi-digital instrument console and a USB port charger. The updated cluster includes an analog speedometer along with an LCD screen that also shows the odometer, trip meter, clock and a fuel gauge. Finally, the 350 Classic customers and the fanboys gets a fuel gauge. The updated switchgear includes Meteor 350 style rotary buttons. The 2021 model also gets the Royal Enfield stripper navigation system, but right now it's currently available on the chrome variants only. The retro style motorcycle is now available in 5 variants, namely the Reddish, the Halcyon, the Classic Signals, Dark and Classic Chrome. A total of 11 color options. That is just awesome. And if I name the colors, it would be Reddish Sage Green, Reddish Grey, Halcyon Black, Halcyon Green, Halcyon Blue, the Signal Marshall Grey, Signals Desert Sand, Gunmetal Grey, Dark Stealth Black, Chrome Red and a Chrome Brown. Guys, that's amazing. 11 color options for Classic 350. The mechanical specifications include a 349cc air-cooled engine that is based on the company's J series platform. Linked to a 5-speed gearbox, the engine is tuned to deliver a power of around 20.2 bhp and 27 Nm of peak torque. The updated hardware on the 2021 model includes a new dual cradle frame. The suspension tasks are handled by 41 mm telescopic forks at the front, which is quite a bit improvement than the older generation. At the rear, it's performed by prelude adjustable twin shock absorbers, and the braking duties are performed by single disc on the both wheels. The reddish variant, however, comes with a front disc and a rear drum setup. The dual disc models use dual channel ABS as standard, while the reddish range uses a single channel ABS. Well, it is depending upon the customer what kind of safety does the customer prefer for this bike. But Royal Enfield did a very good job by giving the offering and the choice to the customer to get a single channel or a dual channel ABS. Royal Enfield Classic 350 is a cruiser bike which is available at a starting price of 1,84,000 in India. That's the ex-showroom price, by the way. It is available in 5 variants and 11 colors, as I already said, and the top variant price starts from around 2.15 lakhs ex-showroom. According to my liking, 5 to 10,000 rupees higher. The Classic 350 bike weighs around 195 kgs and has a fuel capacity of 30 liters with the mileage of around 35 to 40 kilometers to a liter. I feel the bike will give you a decent tank range. So Ladakh is on. This bike would provide you a top speed of indicated 114 km per hour. And talking about the braking, the front disc is 300 mm and the rear disc is around 270 mm. The front provides a 2-piston and the rear provides a single piston calipers. And when we talk about the wheels, the front wheels are 19-inch whereas the rear wheels are 18 inches. And the tire size are 100 section at the front, with the rear section stands around 120 section. But if you're opting for spoke wheels, there are no tubeless option, but you can always go for the customization provided by Royal Enfield and get yourself an alloy wheel and a tubeless option. If you are in Durgapur and you are interested in any kind of Royal Enfield offerings, feel free to contact RH Automobiles Durgapur. They provide some great Royal Enfield motorcycles with a great service. The details are given in the description box down below. When we talk about the comparisons between the Meteor, the Royal Enfield Classic BS6 older generation and the newer generation of the Classic 350, the latest generation of the Classic is wholesome 9 seconds faster to 100 km per hour than the older generation. When talking about the roller acceleration, the Meteor 350 is slightly faster by 0.1 second than the Classic 350. Whereas the older generation model does lag behind by 2 whole seconds to 30 to 70 km per hour in third gear. Talking about the brakes, the newer generation 350 is quite decent and does give very good feedback to the rider. While talking about the mileage and the fuel economy, the newer generation of 350 is around 0.5 to 0.8 km to a liter lesser than the older generation. Well, that's not a deal breaker from my side. So now let's go forward with the ride review. So guys, it's the time to fire up this beast. First impressions, sounds deep and nice, and we have to find out how this bike is different or similar to the likes of the Classic 350 BS6, which is the last generation. Immediately first thing is the vibes. Is it a Royal Enfield without any vibration? Let me set the mirror first. First things first. Guys, this bike does feel quick, a lot quicker than the older generation classic 350. And as per the spec sheet, this new variant, the 2021 version, is almost 9 seconds faster to 0 to 100, which is absolutely magnificent, guys. This bike doesn't feel any stressed, or it doesn't feel, out of its limit. At this point I'm at 90 kph. At this point the old classic would have burned its engine off, means the engine felt so tight and running out of breath. But this new bike, my friend, is bloody smooth. It's smooth, it feels nice, and vibes are almost nil at this point. Nil, no vibes, zero. I am I'm shocked, and literally some years back, if anybody would have told me that Royal Enfield would bring 350 Classic without any vibration, I wouldn't have believed it at any point of time. But they did it, and they did it well. The guys from Chennai, kudos to you guys. This bike feels perfect on highways, at least the new one. The older bike was comfortable at 60 to 70 kph. After that, you felt excessive vibrations, and it didn't feel connected. But this bike is connected to you. The handlebar is slightly, forward biased, which means you can get a good feel of the front end. It feels smooth. There is no vibration in the foot pegs. This is just unbelievable. The brakes are good. As per the spec sheet, the front brake is 300 mm and the rear is 270 mm, and the bite has increased drastically than the older generation bike. I'll do a brake test. Let's see. Is this a Royal Enfield? Seriously? And next to the exhaust, see, you will feel a lot of thump in the exhaust. It's not that the old thump is gone. Like, if you are the fan of the old classics and the old thumpy engines, then I'm sorry to say that you won't get it in any bikes, future generation bikes. But what is the difference between the Meteor and this bike's exhaust is the thump. At lower RPM, around 2500 RPMs, you do get some thumping, thumping feeling, and some sound is really bassy at that point. And I do feel that engineers have done quite a lot of engineering into the exhaust department as well, because the exhaust system is totally different than the likes of the Meteor 350. As the engine is almost same as the Meteor, we all know, but there are certain ignition timing changes and some fueling changes which gives a different character to this bike. First of all is the engine. The Meteor feels much more eager, much more, it wants to go fast and wants to be revved. But this one, it's a bit laid back. It's a cozy bike. It loves to be, ridden at around 80-90 kph on highways, and Meteor will be happy to go 100 to 110 kph in a smooth manner. But what this bike excels is at, low speed and high gear test. So I'll just demonstrate to you now. I'm in 5th gear. I'm at 40 kph. No knocking, no vibrations. It's smooth as butter. The sound is really sweet at this point. You just get that thumping noise. And 40, 45, I'm in 50 right now. Still in 5th gear. No need to shift. .40 kph, 5th gear. I'll see how low it can go. I'm at 35 kph. It pulls effortlessly. From 40 it will pull in a much better way, but even from 35 at 5th gear, it's no problem at all, which means the engineers have done a very good job in low RPMs and higher gears. So that's a very good job It gives a relaxed character to the engine. Every bike must have their own character, guys. It should have their own, feeling. Like this one, which is having this torque and the lower RPMs engine characteristic. I said you that one. The thumpy feeling of the exhaust is there in the Classic, which you won't find in Meteor. So thumping fans, Classic is the one for you. And then the way it rides, the suspension feels good. The front suspension is much beefier this time, 41 mm, and the rear suspension are twin shock absorbers. Does the job pretty nicely. The brakes feels really nice this time. Well guys, another thing which I noticed is at higher RPMs, this bike sounds exactly like any other single cylinder motorcycle. So that feeling and thump which the older bikes had at higher RPMs is now gone. But below 2500 RPM, you do still get that thump. And I'm not sure about aftermarket exhaust. What is the situation if Royal Enfield is bringing aftermarket exhaust for this bike? But I'm pretty sure in the automotive market you will definitely get a lot of exhaust system, third-party exhaust, which you can fit in this bike to even get a better thump. The ergonomics is nice. I'm riding the bike for last 10-15 minutes and I didn't feel any strain at all. No strain at the palms. This handle is a little bit towards in the front side, which I already said you, and this handle is bit narrower. It's not as wide as the Meteor. So what happens is, in the handling department, you have to work really hard to handle the bike into the corners. But once you get the bike into the corners, you will really get very good feeling, and the bike can stay in that corner all day long. But you have to give some effort cornering and steering the vehicle. Guys, there was some vibration at the extreme end of the rev range actually, and that buzz will have to be there because it's a mechanical bike, it's an IC engine, it's not an electric vehicle. So that will definitely be there because it's a 350cc motor, so you can't change that. So that is normal. So guys, let me know in the comment section down below, how did you feel about the first ride review of the 2021 Classic 350 BS6 variant. And this color, it looks gorgeous, absolute gorgeous, guys. Well, when it comes to Classic and Royal Enfield motorcycles, the thump, the duk-duk is what all matters. So let's hear it. The thump is much better than the Meteor, I must say. Well guys, I don't know what to say because it's a stock motorcycle and the exhaust is also stock one, but the sound it produces is absolute gem of an exhaust system which Royal Enfield has developed. And according to the sources, the exhaust in this bike and Meteor is totally different and is developed in a separate manner, and which does show in the sound. Guys, this bike does retain the thumpy signature exhaust note that Classic 350 is known for. Guys, time for the vibration test. ये मेरा phone है, I kept it here, and now at idle, no problems at all. Is this a Royal Enfield? अब लोग वाइब्रेटर किसे बुलाएंगे यार? So Royal Enfield, you have done a great job. वो जो tagline that was used against you, the vibrator, no one call you that anymore. With the likes of Meteor and the new Classic 350, it's smooth. Vibration is a word for the past for Royal Enfield now. guys, talking about the pros and cons of this motorcycle, when it comes to pros, the new J series engine comes in first point. The engine is refined, the vibes are totally cut down, the engine feels punchy, the torque feels good. The next is the look. Royal Enfield did a classic job of keeping the looks of the classic 350 as it was in the previous generation, but still it managed to give it some modern touch, like the clear headlamps, the new redesigned tail lamps and indicators, and with the new paint schemes and all that, to 11 paint scheme, it's a big bonus for the Royal Enfield user to choose any kind of color they prefer. There are endless amount of customization options, guys. The next would be the drivability. It's perfect. The suspension is really well tuned, the bike feels good, the bike feels solid. Guys, now talking about the cons, which is the negative part for this vehicle. First is the headlamp. I think Royal Enfield could have given a full LED setup, because I feel the stock headlamps does lack that power for night rides. The next is the mirrors. The quality could have been better. The switchgear is good, but the improvement in plastic quality could have added to the performance and feeling of the bike. And the big point, which is the waiting period. According to the latest reports, it's just one day the bike is launched in the country, and we have crossed the waiting periods of 2 months. So if you're ready to wait for 2 months for your beloved Classic 350, then go ahead, book yourself 2021 BS6 Classic 350. Guys, what an exhaust note. And on that note, it's time to end this video. I will see you in some next videos with some other automotive or some bike reviews. Till then, as I always say, wear your helmets while riding, wear your seatbelts while driving, and never drink and drive. और phone पे बात मत करना when you're riding or driving. This is Professor Manoj ji. You're watching Automania. Signing off. Ta-da.